It's Monday, and on Saturday I'm happy to say I actually completed the 55k trek that I've been talking about in previous videos. If you've been watching those, you'll know I was slightly doubtful. I put a few caveats in place that if I wasn't feeling it, I'd be able to cut it short, and that was kind of in my mind quite a lot because it was also the hottest day of the year here in the UK on Saturday, and that's not great, especially if you're going to try and go 35 miles. But I'm really happy because I achieved it, I was able to do it, and I was sensible and managed myself accordingly. So I did this trek last year and I basically couldn't really walk by the end of it or undo my shoelaces, but I did it, and that was me at nudging 17 stone. So here I am a full year later, over 4 stone lighter, so currently around 12 stone 10, and I did kind of wonder, how would my performance be affected? You'd imagine being lighter would help, but also I've been on less calories, so it means I've probably got less energy floating around, but conversely my body probably needs less energy to keep moving. So what is the effect that would have on my body? Leading up to this trek, I'd been trying to think about how I was going to fuel. If I've been on this calorie deficit diet for the past 7 months, I'm going to have to try and load up a little bit more in that week beforehand. So one was upping the amount of carbs I was getting, probably just eating a bit more, and definitely in those last 1 to 2 days beforehand, I certainly bulked up on my calories. Nothing massive, they weren't empty calories that I was taking on. It was probably more like pasta and some more bread and things like that to get those carbs in. And I also made sure that I was drinking a lot of water, knowing that it was going to be hot, but also you're just going to dehydrate anyway. So I was having a couple of litres of water a day as well leading up to the event. Now obviously we knew that the weather was gonna get hotter. I was checking out the event details. They said, yep, it's all fine, we've had temperatures like this before, we'll just make sure that there's, the aid stations are well stocked and there's lots of water. So coming up to the day, I was nicely prepared. I put some food and things in my backpack. I've got a running vest pack which holds a couple of 500ml water bottles on the front in these kind of positions. It's got some pockets, and at the back I can put whatever I want. So actually I put another 500ml bottle in there as a reserve, along with some food. I put a couple of flapjacks in there, some jelly beans and some ready salted crisps, just those kind of like instant energy. Knowing that it was hotter, I adjusted my kind of aims and outcomes. First aim is always to finish it. The second one was kind of to see how much I could run of it and how much I'd walk of it. Last year I ran about, I don't know, maybe about a third of it, and then walked the rest. This year, looking at the stats, I probably ran, I don't know, not like 20% maybe of it. So a bit of a drop there, but it was just about being sensible in the heat. I did a few videos, so here's how it went. Warning, it's most of the time it's me just saying it's hot, but here we go. Just arrived at the start of the Pilgrims Hospice 55k, and it's going to be a warm day, but we'll see how it goes. About 2.5 kilometres in, so not even made too much of a dent into it, but we're running the downhills and the flats and walking the hills. just trying to make a little bit of time up so we can end a bit sooner, otherwise it will be a long day. But I'm going to give these little updates and try not to trip over. So it's about 22 degrees and it's 8:30 in the morning. It's projected to get to about 32 degrees later on in the day, probably around that like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock kind of time. So I'm taking on my liquids and making sure I'm hydrated. Whenever we get to an aid station, pop on the sun cream, top up the fluids, have a little snack, and then carry on. 5k in and some lovely shade, which I am enjoying a lot. We're an hour in and done about 7k, and it's getting warm, but it's beautiful out here. 8.5 kilometres in and a little downhill, which means it's time for a run. Sweet cornfields. Yeah, it's another walking bit, but basically it's been decided. If it's downhill, we are running, and if it's uphill, we're walking. You can already feel the heat bouncing off the ground, especially when you're kind of exposed like this. Just under 2 hours done, about 13.5 kilometres in, and only a marathon left to go. Yeah. 10 a.m, 23 degrees Celsius. Into some shade, and we've got some sheep as well. That was a shade. It's 10 miles done in just under 2.5 hours, which is, it's all right. Yeah. Oh, managing, having fun, and we're back on the downhills to have a little run. 17 kilometres in, I've managed to stack it already. I was being nosy at some of the houses around here, and I rolled my foot on a kind of a camber pothole and then stacked it. But luckily, ankle doesn't feel too bad. A little bit of a bump on my left hip and knee, but and pride, but hopefully should be okay. Better look where I'm going, eh? About 3 hours in now, can you believe it? And 19 and a bit k in. And the sheep are out enjoying the sunshine. 11 a.m. and we are at 26 degrees. Just got to the next aid stop. A half marathon in now, so 21k. I've had 1.5 litres of liquids, 2 energy gels, a banana and a brownie. What can I nab here? I've gone for an egg sandwich at 11 a.m. It's 11:30, it's 28 degrees, so in half an hour it's gone up 2 degrees. That egg mayo sandwich I had was amazing, but I did eat it quite quickly, so let's watch out for that later on. 25k in. I'm aware these updates are just kind of probably a little bit boring, but doing okay. Feeling it a little bit on the legs, but we'll see what happens when we get to Canterbury, which is about 35k in. So the ground is rock hard, which does make the feet ache a little bit. It is 12:10 and it's fucking hot. Next aid station, and we're at 27.5 kilometres, so actually halfway there. Whoop whoop, but halfway left to go as well. Boo. It's 12:30, about 4.5 hours in, and we've hit 29 degrees, and luckily a little bit of shade. It's 1 o'clock. We've been going for 5 hours and it's 30 degrees, but 20 miles in and a little child has given us some mini milks, so I'm going to enjoy this. Five and a half hours in and 33 kilometres, that's about 21 miles, 21 miles. 35 kilometres in at the Canterbury aid station, and I've filled up my bottles. I've got a cold water and I've got a halloumi wrap and fries. The only issue with stopping now is will my legs want to move afterwards, because it's got about another 20 kilometres. Okay, that's our longest stop. Been about 20 minutes, but I've had a poo. So there's 20k left, but it is hot, as I've already said plenty of times. So we're taking it easy, having a walk, and just making sure we can see it through to the end. But alright, legs are probably a little bit tired, and we've got quite a hilly route coming up, lots of ups and downs, lots of undulation. 6.5 hours in, 37 kilometres in, and just walking most of it now. It's quite tiring, this heat. I've mentioned that many times, but yeah, it was nice having a bit of a rest at the last stop in Canterbury, but actually it's been a bit hard to kind of get going, especially after having a bit of food. But considering it's 30 odd degrees, probably the sensible thing is not to exert and just try and get to the finish. But I'm trying to think how I am compared to last year. Probably marginally better than last year, even though it's hotter. Last year was just wet. I think I'd probably prefer the wet than the sun and the heat, but we'll see. There's still another 18 kilometres to go, so what's that, another 11 miles or something like that. So yeah, still a bit to go. But only 10 miles to go, but it is hot when you're out in the sunshine. So I've been putting loads of sun cream on. Got my hat obviously, but I just fancy taking it off for a second. Drinking lots of water. I've had about 4 litres so far, but there's literally only so much you can drink. And that halloumi wrap I had a bit earlier, I didn't finish it all, but it's coming up a little bit in this heat. But yeah, that was it, just the update. 10 miles left. Now, if I'm right, we get strawberries here. So let's see what we've got. Just had a hose down. It's good. So that's a marathon completed so far in just over 7 hours, 30 odd minutes. Whew. On a road section now, going uphill obviously again, and you can definitely feel that heat coming off that tarmac concrete. Ooh, off for some shade. 45 kilometres done, and we're about just over 8 hours in, which is a long day. 48 kilometres in, and we've got this stupid long hill. $52k, and for the last couple of k it has been beautiful and overcast. Temperature has dropped massively, which is great for that last few miles. So hopefully a couple of miles left and it's done. $53k in. Technically only 1 kilometre left, but we all know that's probably not the truth. We've been going 9 hours and 51 minutes, including all our stops and everything. But I think we're just over 10 hours when we
The end is in sight.
End is in sight though. So we're nearing the end and it's still 27 degrees Celsius. So dropped a bit from those highs of 30s, but still actually quite hot. So yeah, we are over the 55k moment. I can't even talk anymore. Do you know what I'm looking forward to? A shandy when I finish. They've made us have to do the train crossing. Whoop. We are on the home straight, so why not bring out a little jog? Hey, finished, got my medal. In the end, 56.5 kilometres run. I just looked at the stats. I say run, I ran an hour and 40 of it, walking was 7 hours 40, and then 55 minutes was just chilling at aid stations. Aiming to run a little bit more. I think last year probably actually ran about a third of it, and it was just so hot today. It peaked at 30 degrees. Didn't really drop below 28 once it got that high. It's still pretty hot now. I've still got a bit of a sweat on, but I think I felt better than last year. So even though it was hotter this year, I felt better. I could have probably done a bit more running, but it was just being sensible, because actually I'd say the middle half was actually really, really tough, going around that kind of really hot period. So going slow was good, walking. Also, kind of had to force myself to eat more food and drink water. So I've probably drunk about 6 litres of water, something like that, maybe even a little bit more. And ate food as I've gone along, just to make sure that I've got the energy to keep going. So that didn't make you feel amazing. It's amazing how much you're sweating and not having to go to the toilet or anything. But done it, ended up in Y from Dover. So yeah, 56.5 kilometres. I'm feeling pretty good, but I know that my legs are going to be shredded because I don't obviously do that amount of distance. That'd be like 35 miles. Have a good one. So all in all, an amazing day out. I feel I was better doing the event this year than last year. Probably carrying around a great deal less weight, but also looking after my body a bit better, taking on that extra fluid and taking on the correct types of food, rather than just those sugary things to get an instant rush and an instant boost. It was a bit more of a slow burn and getting what my body needed. So actually when I finished and I got home, I still had a couple of flapjacks in the back. I hadn't touched the jelly beans at all either, so I didn't need those. And I got home and was tired, wasn't really hungry. My body was still kind of processing all of that. But the next day I had a bacon sandwich at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I kind of carried on eating throughout the day, which I think was my body's way of telling me that it was actually quite hungry and wanted to replenish those calories lost. Because I think I burnt, just during the event, 4,500 calories was burnt. I definitely didn't take that on. And then yesterday evening, which is the day after the trek, I just crashed. I went to bed at 8:30 and had a good sleep, which I think is what my body needed. And today, Monday, a little bit stiff. I'm starting to feel a few more aches in the muscles, especially kind of quads, which was for going up and down the hills, but also a little bit around the hips as well, which is probably from running on trails, body having to adjust a little bit as well, and obviously stacking it 17 kilometers in didn't help either, so I might have bruised my hip a little bit, but nothing too major, and I'm just gonna keep moving. So in conclusion, I'm happy with the results of the run slash walk slash trek that I did, and taking Manjaro didn't affect me. It didn't affect my abilities. I was wondering, I'm on 12.5 milligram dose at the moment. I was like, do I take a little bit less if I want to be taking on that extra food? But the fact is, the way that Manjaro has been affecting me, it hasn't really made me not want to eat food. So I just kept on. On the Thursday, I still took the 12.5 milligram dose, and I was still able to eat food. I just had to force myself a little bit more to take stuff on. But yeah, I didn't have to worry too much about it. So running was fine, walking was fine, taking Manjaro was fine. Yeah, it's nice to know that taking on a drug like that isn't affecting my ability, shall we say.